Good afternoon to Mundane Mystic Live as we take a spiritual look at our everyday living. So glad you joined me today. And today our topic is why be woke? That's kind of an interesting topic, I thought, and I think it's extremely timely. If you like what you hear, you want to hear more, after I'm done with these videos, I upload them to YouTube where you can find them on my page, which is Alicia Leslie Mundane Mystic. And under the playlist, you'll see a whole bunch of topics. This topic is Mundane Mystic Live at 5. So today, as we look at the word woke, you hear it every day, over and over. If you listen to the news, if you watch TV, stuff like that, you will see woke, woke, woke. And what one time was a positive word there's a great attempt to turn it into a denigrating word, into a bad word, as for lack of a better word. And so if you want to know a little bit about the history came about starting in 2014 with the killing of Michael Brown, who was a black man. And activists for Black Lives Matter, which I don't even think Black Lives Matter itself was uh, formed yet. I'm not sure. I wrote a book at that time called Rise of the False Gods. And when I wrote it, the word woke wasn't even on the radar. And you know what year that was? 2015. Now, 2014, what came about from activists for civil rights and Black Lives Matter would say, stay woke, because you've got to stay woke. That's what woke means. Woke is a shortened version of awake or awakened or awoke. Awoke. So, what they're saying is you got to pay attention. And they were looking for deception of others, and this was using the term stay woke was a survival tactic. And you know what? It's never been more important than it is today. Stay woke became a cautionary watchword for Black Lives Matter and activism, looking for justice and looking to get away from injustice and persecution. I'm looking down today because I got a lot of notes. I didn't want to misquote anything. Um, so now they've taken this word woke, which is a good word. Excuse me, I gotta hold on one moment, please. I smudged my glasses and it's making me crazy here. Okay, so they've taken the word and they've twisted it around to make it a bad word, just like we've done with so many things. But we can't let that happen, because you know what happens if we change the word woke or awaken to a bad word, then we will be asleep. Because you're either asleep or you're awoke, right? If you are not awoke, or what we call conscious in Unity, this is metaphysical terminology. We say life is consciousness. So life is, in fact, wokeness, and we've been using that term for over 100 years. That if you want to get through life, you've got to be conscious. How else can you learn? I was walking across my room the other day, not paying attention, barefoot, and I just smacked my toe against a chair. Now, I woke for sure. That was not a good thing. I shoved the chair under where it belonged. There was someone in my life one time that if he stubbed his toe on a chair, he'd blame me. I didn't put the chair there. Even if I did, the chair's right there. It's not like it's hiding on you and jumped out to hit your foot. But I learned, right? That's why we're here. You can't learn if you're awake. Oh my God, if you're not awake. I remember when I was in school and we'd have our morning classes. I went to culinary school, so in the morning we'd be cooking and getting everything ready for the lunch service, which we did for the whole school, actually, cafeteria for the kids, restaurant style for the teachers. Yes, yes, yes. In those days, they got an amazing, like, surf and turf, steak and lobster and everything. It was 35 cents for the teacher's meal. That's because they had to teach us how to cook. In any event, after lunch, we'd start to clean up a little bit, and then we'd have our theory class. And in theory class, I got to tell you, most of us were sitting around the circle, you know. I'd catch myself dozing off because, especially after lunch, you know, you have a good meal and you tend to fall asleep. That kind of relates to where we get when we get too comfortable, we can go to sleep. And for a number of years, we have been too comfortable. We developed that let George do it attitude I talked about a while ago. Well, you know what, my friends? That is not good and it's not healthy. It is wakey, wakey time. And I will tell you that I am unashamedly woke. And I pray that some of you, after you hear this, will also think about not being ashamed to be woke, not being ashamed to know a higher truth, not being ashamed to speak your truth with love. See, in lower consciousness, in sleepy consciousness, we tend to speak our truth with rage and wanting personal power. But when we are awake, and we realize, hey, we all want the same thing. We want to be loved, we want to be accepted, we want to be fed and clothed and safe, right? It's what we all want. It doesn't matter where you're from, what you do, it's what we all want. Doesn't matter whether you're Catholic or Jewish or Islam or Muslim or whatever. Doesn't matter what color your skin is. We all want the same thing. We want to live and learn to be safe and happy. Isn't that a great thing to strive for? Excuse me, hiccups. It's gotten to the point where, okay, before I go any further, I do want to point out you can go too far in either direction. You can become too far conservative, you can become too far liberal to the point where there is no structure. What we teach in metaphysics is that there are spiritual principles, spiritual laws that we all live by. And our government in this realm, the human realm, is they are called lawmakers. So they make laws with the intention of having a peaceful, harmonious, prosperous culture in which we can grow. If that's not happening, then we're off target. And that's the thing about being woke. Did you ever happen to hit those rumble strips on the side of the road? You know, driving home, you're getting a little drowsy, it's 5 o'clock, sun's shining in your face, and then all of a sudden, you know, as you hit the rumbles, and they're called that to wake you up. Well, we got rumble strips all over right now because we are kind of sort of off track. Some of the things that woke has become for the people who wish to degrade and destroy the consciousness of awakeness, of wokeness, they go after, first of all, you have to look out for the word theory. A theory, number one, it's not a real thing. How does a theory become a real thing? When we are awake and we look at it and we give it the test of truth, we see, is this working? How is this working? What is the foundation this is standing on? For example, big issue that the woke people are being accused of embracing is, oh Lord have mercy, critical race theory. That we are teaching it in the schools, we are blah, 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 blah. Well, this basic thing is, that there was something going on. First of all, these are not regular school topics. Critical race theory comes from college, law students. It's another way they misuse a word. They twist it around to manipulate who? To manipulate the people who are not awake, manipulate the people who are not fully conscious or working on their consciousness. So critical race theory, what they're kind of twisting that up with is simply diversity training. We're all different. And history. If we don't know our history, we can't learn from our history. If we lie about our history, we can't learn the history. And if we don't learn the history, we are doomed to repeat it. I don't want to repeat some of that stuff. Now, I've been around on the planet for going on 78 years, and I've watched the evolution of these things. We either evolve, by the way, or we die. Do you want to evolve, or do you want to die? Now, there was one of the things that that was considered the lefts, whatever the terms that some people use, that they didn't like anybody Democratic. And then after a while it became bipartisan, and they're going after people that have progressive thinking. What do you want to be? Do you want to be progressive in your thinking? Or do you want to be regressive in your thinking? Progression brings growth. Regression brings atrophy. You don't want to have atrophied muscles. You don't want to have an atrophied brain, or God forbid, literally God forbid, an atrophied mind or consciousness. People that are woke they're looking to be an advocate for social justice, for liberty and justice for all people, all color, all races, all orientations, all faith groups, all socioeconomic levels. We don't want to go too far. It's very balanced. It is balancing the right and the left, the conservative and the liberal. Freedom and responsibility. Freedom's great, but it comes with a responsibility to the greater whole. We're here to learn. If you remember, Adam and Eve got kicked out of paradise because they broke the rules. They tried to be smarter than God without going to the trouble of learning anything or experiencing anything. So they got kicked out. They got kicked out to come to physical forms to learn, okay? To learn the amazing power that we each have as children of God. We are children of God. We better start acting like it, you know? So this is not new. This is not new. The separations, the divisions, they're not new. Why are they not new? Because we refuse to wake up and we keep repeating the negative history. We have to learn that war is futile. Now, I know nobody is just going to lay down their weapons, you know, for many reasons, most of them selfish. But we have to come into a consciousness of creating a world where things like hate and war and racism, bigotry, and all those things, greed, gluttony, 7 deadly sins, throw those in there. I can see that I'm running out of my time today, so I will continue this on a different vein tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're going to just do a little touch on children of darkness and children of light. I hope you'll join me then. Oh, I said tomorrow. You never know. Sometimes I can't squeak it out, but whenever I can, I'll be live at 5. So God bless you. Have a great day, and I hope to see you again soon. Don't forget, if you go to YouTube, subscribe, and you'll never miss one. And like if you like it so you get more of the same.